Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is Clarissa Myers.
Good morning, and I'm Roland.
Roland and I are out here this morning. It's a rainy day here in the Richmond area. It's not raining right now, but the ground is wet. The bench is wet. We're sitting on something. And we just come and we share a nugget or two. The temperature right now is, I think it's at 48 degrees, but it's not windy. It was a little windy yesterday. The geese are flying in, and some of them are in the lake. You might be able to hear some of them. Anyway, good morning, Sips. Good morning, Sipo. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning to you. We can say hello with a wave. Good morning, Yvette. Good morning. Glad that you can join us this morning. Do me a favor. Share this out. The message that we have might be for you, or it could be for someone that you know. So today we're going to be talking about disciplined thinking. Disciplined thinking, just being disciplined in itself, just being disciplined could be a challenge. But to discipline your mind, your thinking, that takes even more grit, Sometimes in life we, feel like we are not accomplishing our goals, or we're not moving fast enough, and we get a little frustrated with ourselves because things are not necessarily falling into place. Well, it could be very well that we need to stop, take inventory of our lives, look at our relationships. It could be that we are carrying around dead weight, that needs to be unloaded, in terms of relationships. Some relationships that we have are toxic, and it's not giving us any nourishment. If that relationship is toxic and you're not getting any nourishment from it, it's time to cut it loose, or unload that. If it's not providing you, if it's disabling you and not providing you empowerment, that needs to go. Good morning, Zayma. Good morning. I just saw that looked different. What did it say? Okay. Roland is reminding me to move on. So it's important that we make a decision in terms of our intellectual development, our emotional development, and even our spiritual development in order to move forward. Okay, I'm feeling the wind now. Yes. So we have to stop and be honest with ourselves. Ask yourself some questions. Well, what have I done this year to really move forward, to grow me, to develop my skills, my abilities in terms of being more marketable? How many books of self-help or self-development have I read? How many seminars have I attended? What classes have I attended? So we have to evaluate what we're doing. And whatever our fears are, our liabilities are, our beliefs, we need to deal with them. Sometimes we pick up habits, bad habits. Sometimes they're good, that are not necessarily part of who we are, but we've picked up these things along the way that are not necessarily helpful to us. I've been telling you that this whole week I've been listening to Les Brown, and he gave the example of this girl that he knew, who he worked with. She had a very deep Southern drawl, but she lived all her life in Chicago. And he wondered, well, why is it that she lived all her life in Chicago and she had this deep Southern drawl? So he asked her mother, and she said, oh, I had, my two sisters came and spent some time with me. He didn't say how long, but evidently it wasn't very long. But her daughter picked up the very Southern drawl, and it became a part of her. So not saying that that's a bad thing, but using that as an example, as we go through life, we pick up things, maybe ideas that are disabling,
Habits.
Making us think that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we'll never do certain things. So we have to check ourselves. He said to think to yourself, what is your biggest fear, or your biggest failure, something that you did not accomplish this year. What is it? So you have to stop and look at those things so that you can confront them. Where was it? Yeah. What is it about you that if someone knew, they would have second thoughts about having a relationship with you? Whatever that thing is about you that you know, work on that. Start with that. Work on it. Whatever it is. If it's, he gave some examples. If being direct is something, an area that you need help with, and I know for me, that was an area that I didn't want to confront. And that's what kept me away from moving into administration, because I didn't want to have to be direct with people or hurt their feelings. That was just a part of me, and that was where I was in my development at the time. But it takes time. Experience helps to shape our thinking. Being able to say no to someone and not feeling guilty about it, that's something that you need to be able to do. Whatever it is, those are some areas that we need to start working on, because we're obviously trying to bring our greatness out. It's in there, but we have all this little baggage stuff that's stopping it from coming out. And as you're doing these things, you start reflecting and you're noticing more things about yourself. So if keeping your word is an area of concern, work on that. If being more considerate of others, work on that. Being more adventurous rather than less fearful. Being less fearful and more adventurous rather than shying away from challenges. Punctuality. I mentioned that earlier in the week. And then if we are creating an unbalanced life, you spend more of your time doing other things that maybe are not income producing or character development. Like, let's say, for example, watching TV. Some people can sit in front of the TV and hours or play these finger games. Well, that's not finger game. It's like the remote donkey. I don't know. I'm not into the technology thing. But there are a lot of games out there that people spend a lot of time playing these. I can't even name one of them because that's not my area of expertise. So we have to think about ourselves in terms of how can we improve ourselves. There are some people who don't live their true happiness. Maybe some couples, you might know some people like that. They're very overpowering, they're very demanding, they're very controlling. And for someone who is like that, especially in a couple, you see when they're separated, when you see maybe the female or whatever, they're buoyant, they're joyful, outgoing, very expressive. But then when the mate comes around, then they're like the cower, and they like have to guard every word they say for fear of irritating. Or we can't live like that. So there's emotional. If there are things that are hindering us in our life, preventing us from moving forward in terms of relationship, we have to face it. We have to face it. And then let me just mention this couple of last two things right here. He says, yes, so pick one area that you want to free yourself of so you are able to move forward. Whether it's starting a business, changing careers, getting a divorce, if that is something, taking a chance on doing something that's important to you. Write it down, and what is the worst thing that can happen if you do that thing? That's your fear. That's a big fear that you may have. And once you write it down, you look at it, you can confront it, because that is a fear. And once you can address it, it kind of frees you up to move forward, to do it, to attack it, and you'll be surprised or amazed at how much better you feel. Your self-respect, your self-worth shoots up. I don't know how much. Now, I know from myself, I was facing technology, like you see, I couldn't even think of some of those games because technology is not my thing. And that was a great fear for me. And so I've been working on this Facebook challenge, to do the Facebook Live. I have gone through a Facebook Live challenge for 21 days. But I'm only going to be doing a Facebook Live for 5 days. So I've been putting it together, and, I had this big old fear about doing it. But when I actually sat down, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. I was amazed at how much easier it was. And so I was able to, I'm not finished with it. I'm going to let you know the date. And if you'd like to be a part of this Facebook Live challenge, it's only for 5 days. It's free. And let me know somewhere in the comments. Oh, talk about bitch. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I forgot to say that, Roland. Tell me where you're tuning in from, and share this out, because some of the information can be very powerful in changing your life. It's been changing my life for sure. So I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live challenge for 5 days. I think I'm going to need the rest of next week to just finish tying it up. And I don't have my calendar. I'll let you know on Monday the date that we're going to start. And also, if you're catching the replay for the hashtag replay, and Roland, I don't know, did I miss something?
No, but I did have a couple of things I just want to say in there. Going back a little bit, as far as being direct, a lot of times we need to use seasoning. When we are, confronting people or talking to people, we're in this age of political correctness, and that's not necessarily the right thing. But I think one of the things I know that I'm working on as a person is, trying to season, what I say.
In other words, being tactful.
Being tactful, because we want to attract, we don't want to repel. And just, some people just say whatever's on their mind. That's not necessarily a good thing. And those that are Christians, you should know that, that's not a good thing as well, So, just like when you cook, you use seasoning.
That's right.
To bring the foods and stuff alive.
Yes, make it more flavorful.
Right, and that's the difference between a cook and an amateur, I guess.
That's right. Some people feel that to lead, you have to lead with an iron fist. I can think of some people, but I'm not going to say. That's not the case. Part of being a good leader is being able to bring the best out of others. Bringing the best out of others. And I'm going to just kind of wrap this up right here. So look at your future self. Whatever it is your goal is, what you want to become. Inside of you, you have everything that you need to create that future self. You have genius in you. You have goodness. You have creativeness. You have everything. It's just up to you to mold it, fashion it, bring it out. All right? So, let me see. I missed some people here. Good morning, B. Good morning. Good morning, Wayne. Zima. Oh, hey, Cousin Jay from Chicago. Glad that you can join us this morning. Neneng, Stephen, good morning. Glad to see you all. Thank you for joining us. Roland and I come every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock to share a nugget or two. And today we just talked a little bit about disciplined thinking. It's all in your thought process and how and mindset, how you develop, how you grow yourself, how you stretch. And use your gifts and talents, because we have them for a reason. We don't just be selective. Oh, I'll just use this one. We should be using all of our gifts. All right. So that's what we have for you this morning. Share this out if you haven't already. If you have not friended me, be sure to send me a friend request. And also in the description somewhere, I do have a link to attraction marketing, because that's part of what we do. We try to bring value to the marketplace, and we hopefully those who have the same vibration as we do would connect with us and want to know what we're doing and how you can generate an income from home. All right. So we thank you again for joining us. It's Friday, and we will see you on Monday. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Rolita, for the love and hearts, and those of you who sent them along. Thank you.
Right.
Oh, I
Bye-bye.
missed several other people. Good morning. Hold on. Carell, good morning to you. Good morning, Rolita. Good morning from Toledo, Ohio. Good morning, Joe. Good morning. Glad that you can join us. Madeline, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're having I can't see the rest of it. Oh, dogs. Dogs. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Have a great day. See you on Monday. Bye now.